Now, the Wauchope's fifth-generation granddaughter, Natalia Sifuba, has collected her family history, put it together and produced a pictorial biography that she entitled The Wauchope's Generational Activism. In this book, she breaks down her family tree and dissects just how they, as descendants, putting a particular emphasis on her mother's role in keeping and extended their tree of political activism. And to unpack this book further, let's now speak to Natalia, who joins us now in studio. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us, Natalia, and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Now, give us a big background as to who the Wauchopes are and how you feature in the family.
The Wauchopes originally come from Fort Beaufort in the Eastern Cape. But soon after the Mendi sank, my great-grandfather then relocated to Johannesburg, to North Mines in particular. And later on in the 50s, when his contract had finished, he then moved to Soweto in Dlamini. He had 10 children. One of those is my mother, Joyce Galaute. And this is where I fit in. I'm the second born of Joyce Galaute.
Okay. And you've never really been shy about speaking your family and your family's history. And speak to us about putting this book together. What is it really that you're trying to highlight?
I decided to put this book together because I think the political activists of yesteryear, they really have to document their history, because I thought then that books, films, music and what have you has been done about the activists themselves. And yet activists are not taking time to document their history and put their experiences into perspective. It's not good enough to leave it to the outsiders, because to mitigate against that, for possible distortions or misrepresentation, it's important, and it became imperative for me in particular to document the family's history.
I see that the main subject in this book is you and your mom, Joyce Galaute. Break down for us, if you can, the extent of the generational activism as you outline it in this book.
In actual fact, it's not necessarily about my mother nor myself. It is about the whole Wauchope family. I decided to use my mother as a springboard to be able to tell the history of the Wauchopes. Right. So the book is about everybody else within the family, not about us, the two of us as such.
Okay. And you cannot speak about the Wauchopes and not mention SS Mendi, as you've mentioned earlier. Talk to us how this incident or this tragedy featured.
The Rev Isaac Wauchope, he's known as the legend of the Mendi. But prior to that, he himself had his own history. He was a political activist. By 1880, there was a formation that was called Afrikaner Broederbond, that was established to look into the interests of the Afrikaner. My great-grandfather, Isaac Wauchope, with his contemporaries, they decided they also need to do something about their own people. They then formed Imbumba Yamanyama, the first black political association of the time. They formed it in 1882. He was instrumental in that formation. As a result, our activism didn't start yesterday. We trace it from his own path that then galvanized us come the 70s. So we trace it from him. We became what we are through him.
I see.
So he is known for the Mendi, but he has really put his life there, and he has sacrificed a lot. And he's also known in the academic world because he was a prolific writer. He even wrote a book that is titled The Mercenaries and Their Subjects.
Okay.
So he was also a teacher. He was, in fact, while teaching in Lovedale, one of his pupils, for an example, was Charlotte Matleke, the legend of the women, ANC Women's Federation at the time.
Okay. In the last chapters, you talk about death in the family and how you never at some point thought that you'd actually be discussing such issues, such deaths in the past tense.
It was quite a difficult part of the book because the Wauchopes are a big family. Particularly, let me talk about the Soweto branch. As I said, there were 10, so it's my mother with her siblings, 9 of them. So when she passed away, she was the last one actually, because she outlived all her siblings. So having grown up in a big family, and all of a sudden you see them perishing one by one. And in fact, let me say, it was a blow for me in particular, because when I came back from exile after 13 years, I had found only 4 mothers, which means my mother and her 3 sisters, and only 1 uncle. So it just that thought to say, when I came back, the other ones had already passed on, including George Wauchope's mother by that time, Ethel Wauchope, in 86. So I got home and found only 5, should I say, elders in the family. So by the time my mother died, it was a rude awakening for the family to say, everybody else has now passed away. We are left with no elders. So it was quite a very touching chapter that I had to put my mind on it, thinking back about where we're going to head on without elders in the family.
Natalia, thank you so much for your reflections and just for taking us down memory lane. We do appreciate your time. Hey?
Thank you very much for having me.
And I understand the book will be launched this coming Thursday?
Yes, or on the 8th in Sinawani, Soweto, at St. Hilda's Anglican Church.
Okay.
The launch will start at 3 and hopefully finish at 5.
Great stuff. Natalie, thank you so much for your time. There you have it. That was the Wauchope's 5th generation granddaughter, Natalia Sifuba, and she's been speaking to us about her recent book titled The Wauchope's Generational Activism. Well, if you also belong to a book club or you're a lone reader, you can also join us for a Sunday morning book feature to talk about some of the books that you're currently reading or have read. Simply send us a detailed description of your book club on email. You can also send us a picture of those books with a brief caption using our social media platforms. You can use our Twitter handle at MorningLiveSABC or hashtag MorningLiveSABC. You can also tag or send us a Facebook message via our page MorningLiveSABC, and our email address is morninglive@sabc.co.za.